First place is at stake in the Pac-10 today. The Bruins and the Huskies live from Seattle, Washington. Hello, everyone. I'm Tim Ryan with Steve Brody before an enthusiastic Husky crowd here in Seattle. And, of course, these UCLA Bruins have lost 4 games already this season. Steve, where do you think they are in the national picture?
Tim, they're coming off a game where many Pac-10 observers feel like they played with more intensity than they have in years in the second half against Washington State. One of the things they're still looking for is an identity. One of the ways they're going to do that, I believe, is by condensing the number of people they use during the game. They only used 7 against Washington State.
Well, are these Washington Huskies a surprise at this point, leading the Pac-10?
Well, I think that they were a dark horse preseason. They're a team that has gained confidence gradually as they've experienced some success. It's first semester exam time right now in this ball game.
Well, all right. You've got 2 teams going for first place. Who's going to win?
We have 2 good teams to play team basketball. I think the team that gets the most players in double-figure scoring will come out on top.
Well, we'll be back for the start of the game here in Seattle in just a moment. And with Steve Brody back in Seattle, Washington at the Edmondson Pavilion, let's take a look at the starting lineups for this afternoon's game. Matching Kenny Fields, number 54 for UCLA against Detlef Schrempf for Washington. Gary Melanson will be facing Paul Fortier. At the center positions, 2 big ones. Number 55, Stuart Gray for the Bruins. Number 40, Chris Welp for Washington. In the backcourt, Shag Williams for the Huskies on the right of your screen. Corey Gaines, a freshman, taking a second start in a row for the Bruins. Ralph Jackson and Alvin Vaughn will match up at the other guard position. The officials today, Charles Raines, Richard Ballesteros, and David Libby, all from the Pac-10.
Tim, I think the interesting thing that we've got going today, so often when you have very, very good players in a ball game, they don't match up against each other. Today, Detlef Schrempf will guard Kenny Fields. On the other end, Kenny Fields will guard Detlef Schrempf. Key matchup today.
Well, of course, in the Pac-10, there will not be a tip-off. They will inbounds it, and there is also no shot clock in the Pac-10 and no three-point play as well. And UCLA has won the toss, so they will have first possession of the basketball. Both these teams rebounded with outstanding victories after surprising defeats. Washington had lost to Stanford 78-74 last weekend and bounced back to beat USC 79-47 Thursday night. The Bruins had been whipped by DePaul 84-68. They came back to beat Washington State impressively 73-57 on Thursday night. First place at stake, we are underway. The Bruins to our right in blue, and the Huskies to our left in gold, and Ralph Jackson opens the scoring for UCLA.
And surprisingly, Washington opened up in his own defense. Jackson hits it immediately.
Back the other way, Shag Williams off the rim, rebound, try by Fortier and missed, but the Huskies maintain possession. Williams again misses, and it's tipped in by Chris Welp.
They're not going to allow it. They said it was in the cylinder, and that was a close call to make.
That brought Marv Harshman to his feet quickly, so UCLA maintains the lead.
The thing you have to notice immediately, if you haven't seen Washington play this year, an extremely aggressive team, particularly on the offensive board in that situation where they got 4 different attempts. They obviously are not intimidated by this UCLA team.
Ralph Jackson and Corey Gaines bring the ball up for the Bruins. That's Gaines number 4, Jackson number 3. In the far corner, Kenny Fields, and he hits on his first try.
Assisted by Gray.
So often when you take a look at a ball game and you try to figure out strategies, different points, which will be important, sometimes it just comes down to field goal shooting percentage.
Battling is charged against Chris Welp. The freshman center, 240 pounds from Osnabrück, West Germany. Played a year of high school basketball in Silverdale, Washington at Olympic High School. And what an addition he has been to the lineup of the Washington Huskies in turning in a 56% from the field. This is Kenny Fields, and it's good, and he was fouled on the play by Welp. So the Bruins with a 6-0 lead and a chance for a 3-point play.
Washington comes out, switching defenses, a little full court pressure. UCLA has answered every single time down the floor offensively. Now, UCLA is not a great passing team. You must pass the ball well if you're going to beat a half-court trapping defense. They have passed the ball well. And, of course, Fields has gotten off to a quick start now, looking for his 5th point here in the first minute and a half of the ball game.
Kenny Fields. 18:44, we are just underway in the first half of play. The Huskies, against the press of UCLA, bring it up. Vaughn, guarded by Gaines. Alvin Vaughn, number 20, to Fortier. Fortier's been a hot hand the last few games for the Huskies.
He really has been in double figures 7 of the last 8 ball games, playing his best ball of the season.
Welp missed, and it'll be Huskies ball, knocked out of bounds by the Bruins.
Interesting matchup inside, too, with Gray guarding Welp. This is the first player Welp's had to play against that could possibly take him out of the ball game. Also, UCLA plays their best defense when Gray can match up with somebody one-on-one.
Well, the defense just stole the ball for the Bruins, and play organized by Ralph Jackson now. Corey Gaines on the near side underneath to Stuart Gray. That's something the Bruins want to do. Get that ball into the big man Gray. A pair of 7-footers matched up against each other in Welp and Gray today. Ralph Jackson off the back rim and rebounded by Vaughn. Vaughn up to Shag Williams, makes a good recovery in the quarter. Now Vaughn will set it up. Schrempf. I believe that's the first time he's had his hands on the ball. Inside to Welp.
And you see what happens when Schrempf gets the ball. What Washington likes to do is they like to push it up the floor. They like to get it to Schrempf in a scoring position so that he can either make a one-on-one move or feed his teammates. He's the leading rebounder, the leading scorer, the leading assist man on this ball club.
Ralph Jackson, number 3 for the Bruins. Looking for Fields. Fields trying to back into the paint there. Turnaround jump is no good. Rebound Fortier. Vaughn quickly down court. Shag Williams.
Now,
7-4 Bruin lead.
When Shag Williams can shoot the ball like that, it's certainly a missing link.
Foul called on Schrempf as Stuart Gray put the ball down.
Husky foul charge to 22, Schrempf, first personal, second team foul.
Detlef Schrempf is a player who plays about 38 and a half minutes a ball game. Has not fouled out of a game this season, and they need him in the lineup. He averages about 3 fouls per ball game. Certainly, if he's out of the lineup, that would be disastrous for Washington.
Bruins will get a second inbound try here, and it's Corey Gaines, the freshman. In the corner, Jackson. Gary Melanson, number 53, the junior forward from Crenshaw High in Los Angeles.
And that's where Melanson can hurt you the most. When he gets the ball in position to score, he can jump over you and has a good touch from 10 to 12 feet and in.
Shag Williams might have been tipped by Welp. It is Welp credited with the tip in, and it's 9-6, a 3-point Bruin lead. 16:25 remaining first half. Melanson again.
Same spot. When he gets the ball where he can just go straight up, out-jump you and shoot it, he's very effective.
He had a lot of room to work on that shot.
Interesting, though, UCLA jumped off to the very quick start. The Huskies are right back in it.
Schrempf underneath for Fortier.
Assist, Schrempf. Fortier is good around the basket, another 10 and 12-foot and in player. They know how to get open. Schrempf knows how to get the ball to him.
Kenny Fields. Schrempf cuts him off with a good defensive move. Fields, loose ball. Nice play by Fields. And they call traveling on it. Good effort at the loose ball by Kenny Fields, but traveling call.
Now, you're allowed to recover a loose ball like that, but the second you stand up with it, it's traveling.
All right, we have a timeout on the floor. 15:48 remaining. The Bruins by 3, 11-8. Tim Ryan with Steve Grody. We're live from the Edmondson Pavilion at the University of Washington in Seattle. And the Berlin Wall so far trailing UCLA 11-8. But you know, the Huskies have 7 rebounds. The Bruins don't have any at this point. Yeah, Washington 4 for 9 from the field, but the Bruins 5 for 7 in the early going. We have 15:44 remaining first half. Huskies in goal with the basketball. That is Schrempf, number 22. Double team, gets the shot off and in.
For a European, you'll be amazed that Schrempf plays so much like the Americans do. Not a typical European player, very creative offensively.
Ralph Jackson for the Bruins. This is Fields, back outside Jackson. From the circle won't go. Rebound, Welp. Vaughn brings it up. Quickly to Schrempf in the corner.
You got it. Oh!
Rebounded by Stuart Gray. The first Bruins rebound of the basketball game, and they get the ball quickly down court. Now Jackson slows it up.
But once again, you see the Husky strategy. Get the ball down the floor quickly, get it to Schrempf, let him create.
Melanson inside to Stuart Gray. Welp playing him real tight. Corey Gaines.
You can see a little bit of the defensive strategy now. When Gray goes in low, everybody sags, Welp stays behind. They don't want that ball inside. Gray can turn around and kick it back out. When you get it inside, it opens up all areas of the court offensively.
And he fields, won't go. Rebound, Welp. Vaughn, Williams. Shag Williams, the 6'3" sophomore guard from Davis High in Yakima. And the Huskies lead for the first time. There's Larry Farmer, not happy with his turn of events.
Once again, we see the missing link. Williams, a 42% field goal percentage shooter on the year. He was a forward and a center in high school. This has been his biggest adjustment, to learn to shoot that perimeter jumper.
He's off to a fine start this afternoon after a rather bad start on Thursday night against USC. Marv Harshman lifted him early after a couple of mental errors. Bank shot short from Jackson. Now called on the rebound try.
It's going to be on Stuart Gray.
UCLA number 12, Montel Hatcher.
You can see how Washington works the boards both offensively and defensively. Welp has come down with the defensive board on most occasions off the missed shot. This time Schrempf's right there. Gray gets him on the arm.
First team foul for UCLA. Schrempf brings it up court.
There he goes.
Handle the ball. Up by Fields.
You can see what Schrempf's able to do. Between the legs, goes baseline, Fields hand, checks him. He shoots the ball left-handed. It's a very exciting player, one of the best on the coast.
He really is. And talking with Marv Harshman about him yesterday, he said, you know, he thinks like an American basketball player, has really grown up with American tradition.
One of the things that I think will help Washington today is a big crowd. They don't get the following here that they deserve, especially this year with such a good team. Now the place is packed, the crowd's into the ball game. I think that will be an inspirational factor in this game.
Montel Hatcher in for Gaines, picked up the foul. Shag Williams. 14-11, Washington.
Tim, one of the things we've seen the last 3 or 4 exchanges is that UCLA is shooting the tougher shots right now.
Well, Fields made that one look easy from deep on the baseline. 14-13, 1-point Husky lead. Montel Hatcher, who had been the starter until the game Thursday night when Corey Gaines, another freshman, came in at guard. Hatcher came off the bench to score 11 points against Washington State. He's in there now, number 12. But the Huskies have the basketball. Schrempf. Number 22 gets a pick from Welp. And the foul will be against Kenny Fields. Schrempf ran him right into the pick. And Fields unhappy with that call.
Let's take a look at this one now. I think the only thing that happens is that he gets tripped. I don't think that there was any contact other than Fields tripping over Welp's pick.
Looked to me like Welp might have taken a step into Fields.
I think you're absolutely right. But now Fields goes out of the game. 2 fouls in the first 7 minutes of the ball game.
Driving is Fortier. 3-point lead for Washington.
And now with Fields out of the lineup, their number 1 offensive threat. The thing we set up at the top of the show, the team that gets most people in double-figure scoring could really be the key factor. That'll be offensive basket interference. That ball was right on the rim.
No basket. Reggie Miller, number 31, is in for Kenny Fields. Freshman forward Larry Farmer really upset. Freshman forward Reggie Miller from Riverside Polytechnical High School in California. He averaged 29.5 points a game. Huskies with the ball. Alvin Vaughn.
They're doing nothing wrong right now, are they? This is a very, very confident basketball team right now.
Hatcher to the corner. Reggie Miller back outside. Hatcher and Jackson in the backcourt. This is Jackson, number 3. Front line of Melanson, Stuart Gray, and Reggie Miller.
UCLA looks a little disorganized now. They're running their offense, but that's a tough shot.
Hatcher on the top of the key. Closes the margin to 3.
UCLA shooting a decent percentage right now, but over the course of 40 minutes, it's tough to win the game when you're shooting perimeter shots like they have been.
Vaughn off the front rim. Bruins rebound. This is Hatcher. Underneath Melanson.
On that offensive possession right there, you saw the old UCLA fast break. That's what they got in the second half. When Gray gets that rebound and gets the good outlet pass, it's a key to their offense. They get easy baskets off the break.
Won't drop through Welp. Rebounded by Jackson for the Bruins. Tim Ryan and Steve Grody. 10:53 remaining first half. Fouled inside. Welp on Stuart Gray. That's the second personal foul on Christian Welp, the 7-footer from West Germany. Timeout on the floor with 10:51 to play in the first half. An exciting basketball game, a 1-point margin. The home team Huskies in front, 18-17. Hill from the Huskies campus. Near the waterfront is the beautiful Kingdome, the site of the Final Four. March 31st to April 2nd, exclusively on CBS Sports, the NCAA Championships. And that should be an exciting time for all of the basketball fans in the Seattle area. And of course, they'd like to see their Huskies in that Final Four.
You know, 2 years ago, they started the slogan, make the Final Four in '84 in their hometown. Take a look at Christian Welp. Here's what Welp has done for this team. Reggie Rogers exited the lineup when he began to start. It moved Paul Fortier from the center position to his natural power forward position. It's moved Detlef Schrempf from that big forward spot to the small forward spot. That has been the missing link. Everyone now is in their natural position.
And Welp has certainly contributed to the recent success of this Husky team. Just a freshman, looks like he is going to be an awesome center in college basketball over the next few years. Bruins have the ball. They trail by 1. Ralph Jackson.
Tim, I would agree with you. The thing that Welp has right now is, as a freshman, he's aggressive, has good hands, and knows the game. Those are things you can't teach someone by the time they're 20, 18, 19 years old. Those have to be natural.
Inside, that's Melanson. He was fouled on the play. Fortier picks up the foul, his first. Fourth team foul for Washington, and Marv Harshman, the second leading coach among active coaches, with wins behind Meyer as the call.
Replaces Bell for the Huskies. 1 shot for Melanson.
Gary Melanson right now has picked up the slack as Kenny Fields has left the lineup. That's his third basket. That free throw gives him 7 points.
Jag Williams underneath the Fortier for the Huskies. 20-18. UCLA back in front. Got away with it. That Schrempf.
If Washington has an advantage, and that has shown here early in the ball game, they have good passers at every single position. You saw that on that exchange.
Stuart Gray with a turnaround jumper. Bruins back in front, 22-20. Schrempf inbounds to Vaughn.
Reggie Miller knocked that ball away after it had gone through the basket. The official blew his whistle and warned him once. Good pass.
Schrempf from Alvin Vaughn. 6 points for Schrempf. Reggie Rogers in the Huskies lineup, number 35. Rebound Fortier up to Vaughn. Vaughn to Schrempf, and it's tipped away. Nice play by number 12, Montel Hatcher, but it'll be Huskies ball.
That one was a little risky, but after the first lob worked, hey,
Try it again.
go back to it.
Well, they kept possession. Schrempf inside to Rogers. He can jump. Guarded by Stuart Gray. It'll take some jump. Then he misses. Uh-oh. Foul against Schrempf. Trying to get position on the rebound. He pushed.
Foul charge to 22.
That's his second personal foul and the 15th foul.
5 on the team.
Now,
On Washington.
Fields out of the ball game with 2 fouls. Schrempf with 2 fouls. Washington gets hurt much more with Schrempf out of the lineup than UCLA does with Fields out of the lineup.
Well, hard to believe in at this point at least. 8:50 remaining first half. That's Melanson, guarded by Fortier. Good shot. 24-22. Bruins once more by 2. Seesaw battle through the first half here at the Edmondson Pavilion in Seattle. Fortier in the corner. Whips it into Schrempf. Schrempf. What a nice move. Double teamed in there. Got himself loose with a pump fake and hit it. 8 points for Schrempf.
You know, when you start thinking about the Olympics coming up over the summer, you put Detlef Schrempf in that lineup for the West Germans. That's not a bad ball club, just him in there.
This is Melanson. Both Welp and Schrempf will be on the German national team, but of course they have to qualify in Europe to get to the Olympics. Foul called on Vaughn with Hatcher driving. First foul on Vaughn and the 6th Husky team foul.
You know, we saw DePaul come out here and beat UCLA very soundly not too long ago. An interesting matchup. The Final Four out here in Seattle. How about Marv Harshman, the second winningest coach, against Ray Meyer, the #1 most winning active coach right here in the national championship? Something to think about.
That is Melanson. 26-24 UCLA. You saw Shag Williams getting a rest. Clay Damon has come in. 6'3" guard, a freshman from Lewis and Clark High School in Spokane, Washington. That's Damon, number 12. In the lane, the miss by Fortier. The ball still loose, and it's taken by the Bruins. Reggie Miller. Jackson. Alley-oop from Melanson, missed. And a foul call against catcher number 12 for the Bruins. 7:33 remaining first half. Larry Farmer, 33-year-old coach, the youngest in the Pac-10, as we have a timeout on the floor, with the Bruins holding a 2-point lead in what has been a thrilling first half of play in Seattle. Coming up following basketball, third-round action from the Bing Crosby National Pro-Am in beautiful Pebble Beach. And Willie Wood, not the former defensive back of the Green Bay Packers, is leading 8 under after 6, as you can see, and we'll be going out to the Monterey Peninsula for action from the Crosby. Meanwhile, the noise is here at the Edmondson Pavilion, which is what I think I've been saying, but perhaps Warren Moon's return to his hometown of Seattle from Edmonton of the Canadian Football League has got us a little bit tongue-tied in that respect. And of course, he announced last night, did Warren Moon, the former Husky quarterback star, that he will be playing with the Houston Oilers. All right, Huskies with the basketball. And a foul call underneath.
It's going to be on Ralph Jackson. One of the things that has bothered Schrempf, UCLA has been successful over the past by playing a quicker defensive person on Schrempf and denying him the ball. He's a very emotional kid and can be his own worst enemy at times. So with Fields out of the ball game, look for maybe some smaller, quicker people to be in there. Jackson again though with 2 fouls immediately.
Jackson just giving a little push to Schrempf, and Schrempf tries to get position in the paint here.
Schrempf very intelligently with Jackson on him. A solid 5 to 6 inch height advantage, goes right inside and post up.
Schrempf will go to the line. 17 fouls on UCLA. Huskies with the lineup of Clay Damon in the backcourt with Alvin Vaughn. They have Fortier, Rogers, and Schrempf up front. And Kenny Fields has returned to the Bruins lineup, number 54. Schrempf hits one, making it 26-25. 1-point Bruin lead. Detlef Schrempf from Leverkusen, West Germany. Played a year of high school basketball at Centralia High School in Centralia, Washington. Schrempf 2 for 2 from the line has a total of 10 points. 4 of 5 from the field. Melanson for the Bruins is 6 of 6.
Once again, our original matchup, Schrempf against Fields.
There's Melanson and his first miss. Rebound by Stuart Gray, and he is fouled.
Going to be on Rogers. First time that Washington has been hurt on the offensive board. They'll come in with Christian Welp immediately. Now, even with 2 fouls, Schrempf really playing aggressive defense inside. Tries to block both shots, intelligently stays away. There you see the foul on Rogers.
Christian Welp has returned to the lineup for the Washington Huskies, number 40. 17 fouls now on Washington. Stuart Gray at the line will shoot 2. 27-26. 3 points for Stuart Gray. One of the things that Bruin watchers have observed is that the UCLA team has not been able to get the ball into Stuart Gray consistently. And even today, that's been a problem for them so far. He makes a pair as Brad Wright comes into the lineup for the Bruins. Big number 32, junior center from Murphy High School in Los Angeles.
And now UCLA with Fields in foul trouble. And no one being effective defensively against Schrempf has gone to his own defense.
Wright watching Welp from outside. Damon misses, and Brad Wright rebounds. Hatcher and Jackson in the backcourt. Fields, Wright, and Melanson up front for the Bruins.
But once again, one of the things you must notice about UCLA, that old UCLA fast break just is not there. They've gotten one this ball game. When they get that defensive rebound, they just don't get it down the floor and score the easy basket anymore.
Hatcher, Montel Hatcher.
But the way they're shooting the ball today, most shots are looking pretty easy.
30-26, 4 points Bruin lead. Schrempf, 5:57 to play in the first half. Damon outside to Vaughn. Vaughn and Damon both shot well on Thursday night against USC. This is Schrempf. Won't go. Rebound. Rogers.
I believe as the season progresses, Rogers' ability to maintain a good attitude and perform off the bench is going to be a key. Remember, he lost his starting job when Welp became a starting center.
He's a sophomore from Norte del Rio in Sacramento, California, and he can leap.
And one of the things he gives them, too, is a big, bulky, strong enforcer type inside.
He lifted the crowd out of its seats here Thursday night with a dunk shot late in the game against USC. They love him. Husky fans in the corner. That is Hatcher. Rebound, Schrempf.
Schrempf does a great job blocking off. Fields very smartly avoids his 3rd foul.
Damon for Schrempf. Off the back iron. He gets his own rebound. And traveling is called against Schrempf. It'll be Bruin ball.
As we continue to see Schrempf handle the ball and get it in so many different positions, stay with us for our 4-hour shot chart. We're going to take a look at where Schrempf scores from and how much he contributes to this team offensively through the assist. I think you're going to find that he's responsible for a tremendous number of points. Not just the ones he scores, but the way he sets up his teammates.
Well, Steve will show you that at halftime. And, of course, we'll also have a report from the Bing Crosby Golf Tournament. And a look at the winningest team in basketball, which will be a surprise to many of you as to which team that is. That is Hatcher. Hatcher with a hot hand. Near the foul line, 32-28, 4-point Bruin lead again. 6 points for Hatcher.
And it would appear that sitting Hatcher down and not starting him in the last ball game has really perked this kid up.
That's what the coaching staff said after the Washington State when he had 11 points off the bench.
Yeah, he's got close to double figures in this first half alone. I know he's hit 4 long jumpers.
This is Kenny corner, Corey Gaines and Hatcher, the backcourt pair right now for the Bruins. Rebound, feed to Vaughn from Damon, and it won't drop for him. And he was fouled by Hatcher. Al Vaughn a senior guard from Garfield High School in Seattle.
I'm going to go back to the Hatcher story for just a second. When UCLA has struggled offensively, it's been because Fields has had bad shooting nights, and they've had trouble getting a productive scoring output from that off-guard position. Yesterday, Hatcher gave it to him, or in the last game, Hatcher gave it to him off the bench. He's giving it to him this half.
3 personal fouls against Montel Hatcher. They had brought back in Gaines, teaming him with Hatcher, and we'll probably see Ralph Jackson back in. The Bruins in the backcourt. 32-30. Bruins lead by 2. We have 3:54 remaining and an exciting first half of Pac-10 basketball live from Seattle. We'll be right back. Back in field action next Sunday on CBS Sports, 2 o'clock Eastern Time, the U.S. Olympic Invitational Indoor Track Meet. And expected to compete, Carl Lewis, who just set that new world indoor record in the long jump. Pole vaulter Billy Olson, miler Steve Scott, some of the outstanding young men who will be competing this summer in Los Angeles. 2 o'clock Eastern Time on CBS Sports next Sunday. 32-30, the Bruins lead. Tim Ryan with Steve Brody. 3:54 remaining first half. This has been an exciting and well-played basketball game, Steve.
It really has. For UCLA, the key has been Hatcher has shot the ball from the outside. When Fields went to the bench, Melanson got hot. He's got 13 points in the first half alone. He's been pretty much unstoppable inside.
Fields, of course, had some foul problems, so he sat down, but he still got 7 points.
There you see Melanson with the ball. They've countered by bringing Reggie Rogers in that position right there to try and front and muscle him a little bit and get him away from the basket. Melanson uses his body very well, posts up.
Rogers,
the foul.
Reggie Rogers, 6'7", 230-pounder, former football player, as you might have expect looking at that body. His brother, Don, is an outstanding football player. Indeed, he is a free safety with the UCLA Bruins and an All-American, Don Rogers. At the line, this is Melanson. Rebound by Christian Welp. Quickly for the Washington Huskies. Bond, Schrempf. Boom, he hits. Christian Detlef Schrempf, pardon me, now has 12 points.
Just overall basketball knowledge. As the ball's being brought down the floor, Schrempf ran from the left side of the backcourt to the right side of the front court where there was an opening offensively. Got the ball, got the shot immediately.
He is a very, very bright player out there. Stuart Gray missed everything. Rogers fouled Kenny Fields, going up to block Fields' shot. Off contact, 3:05 remaining first half. We're tied at 32.
Now here you're going to see the offensive rebound, and this is where you have to block out especially well. The weak side on the defensive board. Schrempf did not get the rebound. Obviously smart enough not to pick up the foul. But see, that's why they're able to lead him in the game. Harshman with tremendous confidence that he is smart enough not to pick up that third one in this half.
Fields missing from the free throw line. Rogers sitting down. A little unhappy. Kenny Fields. 8 points for Fields.
Now the Bruins, 31.
And a substitution, Reggie Miller, number 31, coming in for Fields. The freshman from Riverside Poly High. And Kenny Fields gets his second rest in this first half of play as we go under the 3-minute mark. 32 for Washington, 33 for UCLA. And it's been that close most of the way since the early going when the Bruins jumped into a 6-0 lead. It'll be Huskies ball off the foot of Reggie Miller. Corey Gaines and number 30, Dave Immel in the lineup in the backcourt for the Bruins now. The Huskies have the ball, and Courtier makes a save. Courtier over to Vaughn.
They're very lucky that time on a very poor decision to throw the ball inside against the zone to come back up with it.
Miller and Vaughn in the backcourt for the Huskies. Schrempf, Welp, and Courtier, the starting lineup on the floor for the Huskies.
You see Schrempf, every time he gets it, he tries to create. Threw the foul right there.
It'll be Immel, Dave Immel, number 30, the freshman guard from Glencoe High in Hillsboro, Oregon. Getting some late half time here and picking up the foul on the fake by Schrempf.
I saw this Washington team play early in the season. This is a team that was shooting 40% from the field 8 or 9 games into the season, but we're winning. Now, in Pac-10 play, they are shooting 54% from the field. Simply a gaining of confidence. As they won some games along the way, they gained confidence. They put the ball in the basket with high regularity now.
66% Thursday night against USC, and Schrempf has a pair, and the Huskies are back in front. 34-33 for Schrempf, 14 points. Jag Williams, second in the scoring department with 6 for the Huskies. There's a block by Fortier. And it's Huskies ball. Larry Farmer did not like that call.
Well, that time Wright simply lost his balance and obviously did not get up high on a jump shot. The defense is there to make the big block. Key possession.
Schrempf off the back iron, rebound, Welp. 6 points for Christian Welp. The West German combination clicks for the Huskies.
And you know, Welp's the kind of kid that came in and played well right off the bat. Against that LSU ball club they played in their 3rd game of the season, a very intimidating front line. He came in, played very confidently offensively, got 11 points against that big front line.
Fortier called for a foul, his second against Gary Melanson. Ralph Jackson back in for the Bruins, now goes over for a word with Larry Farmer. Welp and Schrempf played on the national junior team together. Came to Washington separately, the state of Washington, went to 2 different high schools here for their senior years, and then have teamed up here this season under Marv Harshman. Both will play for the West German national team, as we said, and hope that their team qualifies for the Olympic Games in Los Angeles.
You know, they both led their high school QA state championships.
36-35, Huskies lead by 1. Melanson with 15 points leads the Bruins in scoring. Fortier. Welp. Watched by Brad Wright. Has to go back outside. Welp. Fouled on the play as he tried the turnaround jumper.
UCLA foul charge to 53.
The first time Welp got the ball inside, I thought it was an excellent no call by the official. So often when these big guys pump fake with their head and shoulders, the official just naturally thinks their feet move. He didn't travel. Obviously, they have confidence enough to go back into Welp again, and you got to be impressed with the hands that this kid has. That ends up being the difference between how well a big man plays. He's got good, soft hands. Welp has it.
He's very smooth for such a big man in every aspect of his game. We were impressed with his agility the other night in a couple of situations against USC. He makes a pair, 38-35. Huskies by 3, 109 to play first half. Jim Ryan with Steve Grody, the Bruins in blue. In the backcourt, that's Dave Immel, number 30, with Jackson, number 3. Miller, Wright.
Once again, UCLA looks a little confused offensively.
There's Reggie Miller. In and out. Rebound by little Alvin Vaughn. Vaughn for Schrempf. Basket will not count. He was fouled before the shot. And another nice play from Vaughn to Schrempf.
And Vaughn's a kid we haven't talked too much about. Maybe the biggest improvement in this team is because Vaughn has developed so much as a quarterback, as the point guard. He recognizes situations when he pushes the ball down on the break. This time makes a great pass. Schrempf will go to the line.
39 seconds to play first half. 38-35. Schrempf off the front iron, won't go, and Jackson rebounds for the Bruins.
This has to be last shot time now with 30 seconds to play.
Bruins can move to within 1 at halftime. They were tied with Washington State on Thursday night at the half and blew it open in the second half for their win. We mentioned both teams rebounding from defeats in the previous games. UCLA humiliating 18-point loss at the hands of DePaul at Pauley Pavilion, and Washington losing to Stanford. Immel inside, the hook try by Wright, picked off by Welp, who chucks it down court. And time will, well, there's 1 second. 1 second on the clock. as Welp threw it nearly the length of the floor. Well, we've seen a lot of things he can do. We've also seen that he can throw the ball like Warren Moon. Warren Moon may be in attendance here. He was here Thursday night, made his big announcement last night that he's going to the Oilers. He's a loyal Husky supporter, former Husky football star, and was expected to be here today. So the Bruins inbounded, and time expires here. Listen to this Husky crowd.
Tim, it was the first half which saw UCLA get out to the quick start. The Huskies hung right in there. They played very well. We've got the type of ball game we thought we would have.
Well, all right, with a score of 38-35 for the Huskies, NCAA basketball will continue after this word from your local station. Of course, had some time on the bench and foul trouble.
And I don't mean to take anything away from Gary Melanson. Certainly without his performance, UCLA would be far behind. He got 15 in the first half. 6 of 7 from the field, 3 of 4 from the free throw line.
Huskies inbound to start the second half, and they're working right to left now, and it is Schrempf. That won't drop. Rebound Welp, and a foul call underneath as he and Stuart Gray were going for the ball.
Now, Welp has fouled out of 3 ball games. Generally, you'll find him going over the back, both offensively and defensively.
Third personal on Christian Welp. Bruins bring it up. They trail by 3. We're just underway second half. That's Kenny Fields.
Now, Washington starts out the second half with the same full-court trap defense they started the game with. But UCLA scored the first 7 points of the ball game when they were in that defensive set. It was ineffective.
Same starting lineups for both teams that began the game. The jumper by Melanson. He's got the hot hand. Make it to Hatcher, Montel Hatcher, connecting to start this second half scoring and bring the margin to 1 point. This is Welp, turn around. 40-37. Huskies in front. Jackson and Gaines in the backcourt for the Bruins. Melanson, Stuart Gray, Kenny Fields up front. Stuart Gray, nice move into the paint.
And I'll tell you what, when UCLA gets big performances out of Stuart Gray, that really gives them an added dimension, both rebounding and off the offensive punch.
Welp the other way, the 2 big men. Gray and Welp back-to-back baskets, 42-39, Washington lead. Gaines, high post position, Gray. Look at Welp literally right in his face. Turn around, Gray. Rebound, Welp. What a battle we've got going between the 2 7-footers.
Now, that was not a good shot by Stuart Gray.
Looked like he just challenged him. There's Welp from Schrempf.
Once again, it's the Schrempf pass. He does it all. Did not get weak side help that time, UCLA.
Now Jackson. Inside Kenny Fields, blocked by Schrempf.
That's going to be an off. Oh, they're going to call a block on Schrempf right there. That's his 3rd. You could probably make a case for a hook on Fields.
But it is Schrempf, his 3rd personal foul.
Now watch this. Look, there's the hook. I think that was an offensive foul.
Corey Gaines, number 4. Zone discipline by Washington. Gaines gets a good pass inside. Welp got a hand on the ball. The shot was missed and traveling call.
Now, when a defensive player blocks the shot when the offensive player is up in the air, if the ball comes back down in his hands, it's a traveling violation.
Look at this. 14 points for Welp to 4 by Gray. They've just been head-to-head here at the start of the second half. Push foul on Melanson. Melanson, number 53. And that is his 2nd personal foul. 5-point lead for the Huskies. Montel Hatcher comes into the game for UCLA. Bruins rebounding. Kenny Fields. Gaines is out. Hatcher is in, joining Jackson in the backcourt for UCLA. Tim Ryan with Steve Grody. Reminding will be our selecting our Chevrolet Most Valuable Player from each team. Chevrolet donates a $1,000 scholarship to the General Scholarship Fund of each school. Fields off the rim, and the rebound knocked out of bounds by Shag Williams, and so it'll be Bruins ball.
You saw, at least in that instance, where Fields preferred to shoot the ball off the dribble. Had the good shot right off the pass, put it on the floor, and shot a more molested shot, gave Schrempf time to catch up to him.
Ralph Jackson missing, rebound by Fortier. Jackson had 16 against Washington State on Thursday night. Had only 2 points in the first half here today. Timeout is called by UCLA's Larry Farmer. 16:30 remaining in the second half. The Huskies 44, the Bruins 39. Washington, Tim Ryan with Steve Grody at the Edmondson Pavilion in Seattle, Washington. And of course, later this year down at the Kingdome, just a few blocks away down the hill, will be the site of the Final Four NCAA championships here exclusively on CBS Sports. 16:30 remaining, second half, with the Huskies and the Bruins battling for first place in the Pac-10. Bruins a half game behind coming into this afternoon's action. Washington with the ball.
And so often when we start the second half, the first 5 minutes end up being a difference. Both teams have played evenly here at the start.
Reject by Melanson. This is Jackson, and he takes it back outside as the Bruins set up. Stuart Gray gets down the floor into the action for the Bruins.
One of the things we've seen from the UCLA offense today is better passing. We talked about that early in the ballgame. Of their 14 baskets in the first half, 9 of them came off the pass. 9 of 6, first half.
Jackson, number 3.
And you can see now, this is where Melanson likes to get the ball. You see him post up down there on that wing. Fortier now doing a very good job of fronting him, keeping the ball away.
And he Fields.
Kenny Fields.
10 points for Fields. 44-41.
And Schrempf with 3 fouls. They're going right at him with Fields that time. Good move.
Jag Miller won't drop for him. Welp rebounds. It's tipped away by Stuart Gray, and Welp just flattens Kenny Fields and picks up the foul.
Little frustration on Welp's part that time. Shot a bad shot and followed it up with another foul.
His 4th personal, not a good foul to take there.
Look at that.
Not much doubt about it. You call it obvious frustration. So Marv Harshman will sit him down with 4. 15-15 to play. Second half, 3-point Husky lead. Bruins with the ball. Hatcher and Jackson in the backcourt. Melanson, Gray, and Fields up front. Gray deep in the corner. Now at the top of the key is Kenny Fields.
One of the problems UCLA has had is in executing their half-court offense. They've been a little guilty of being lazy. They don't run their cuts real sharply. However, today I think that the coaches will agree that that has picked up.
Hatcher on the feet for Jackson. 44-43. Huskies by 1. Live near capacity crowd at the Edmondson Pavilion in Seattle, Washington. UCLA 6-1, Washington 7-1 in the Pac-10. Detlef Schrempf. I love that way. He kind of leans in and then he pulls back.
There's a little
Hits
shake
that
and
jumper.
bake. Yeah, he's a fun player to watch. UCLA, excuse me, early in the year, had been a good first half team and a poor second half team. Recently, it's been the other way around.
Corner jumper by Jackson. Hatcher, pardon me.
Walk.
Walking is the call.
Traveling call, and Fields was way up there to reject the shot. But it's Bruins ball on the turnover. Jackson with Hatcher in the backcourt. Number 12, Montel Hatcher. Down to Kenny Fields.
Now let's watch the half-court offense. Look, it looks to me that the people are moving around a lot more. They're making the defense move, get a little bit out of position. They're passing the ball well. They're operating this half-court offense a little bit better than they have all year.
Number 4.
Fields will go to the line to shoot 2. And a chance to tie it up at 46 and take the lead at 47-46. Cans in both, 13:32 remaining. By 1. Seesaw battle. They're tied.
When you watch Fields play, you get a good look at Larry Farmer. You have to notice his hands. Got, one of the best pair of hands in college basketball. Watch when he shoots it. It's all wrist. See, he holds that ball in his hand. He's got such a big hand, he can just flip it with his wrist. That's how he gets his shot off so quickly on the offensive end.
Kenny Fields has the Bruins in front by 1. Schrempf working the right side. And a push called inside.
Going to be on Stuart Gray trying to keep the ball away from Rogers.
Reggie Rogers, number 35, looked over as though, hey, not me again, but it turned out it was against his opponent.
Well, and with Welp out of the lineup, you've got Rogers in there who is, once again, a little more physical, a little quicker, possibly a little more difficult for Gray to handle.
Schrempf bounce pass to Vaughn. Underneath. Jag Williams, 8 points. Ralph Jackson.
There you see some of the double pick down there for Hatcher. Having a real good day shooting the ball from the perimeter.
Oh, steal by Vaughn. Won't drop for Williams. Rebounded by Melanson, and he is fouled. Jag Williams, frustrated, picks up the foul after missing the layup.
Now down the road here, Washington may get in trouble in the foul situation. They're a ball club that has been outscored from the free throw line by 76 points in the free throw line on the season. Their opponents shoot 70% from them, against them from the free throw line.
Second personal against Williams. 15th foul on Washington's second half. There's Hatcher. He's been hot, but that won't go. That's a foul on Gray by Rogers, and Stuart Gray fouls him.
UCLA foul charge to 55, Stuart Gray. Third personal, 13th foul.
With Welp out of the lineup, Gray with a decided height advantage inside, but so often it's the quick jumper that gets the rebound, not the taller player. That time Rogers was there first, Gray went over his back.
Third personal on Stuart Gray.
You can see Schrempf posting up right now.
Alvin Vaughn to Shag Williams. They're working the backcourt. Schrempf, Fortier, and Rogers up front for Washington.
Oh, Fields doing a good job of preventing that ball from getting inside. Washington being very patient now, waiting for that defensive breakdown. There it is, right there.
Fortier missed everything. Rebound, Kenny Fields. Jackson. And Hatcher in the backcourt for the Bruins. The Bruins are 13-4. The Huskies are 14-4 overall on the season, but this is the battle for first place in the Pac-10. Kenny Fields underneath Schrempf. Nice move by Kenny Fields.
And once again, it's those big hands that allow him to not jump high on his shot, but the ability and the strength to just flick his wrist and get the ball there from 15 feet.
49-48, 1 point Bruin lead. Fortier. Six points for Paul Fortier, the sophomore from St. Ignatius High in San Francisco.
In 8 league games, they've had 41 more assists than their opponents. You saw why on that exchange. Oh. Fields has got the answers right now.
Kenny Fields has the Bruins back in front. 16 points for Kenny Fields. Had 20 Thursday night against Washington State. Coming into the game with a 15.5-point average. Huskies with the ball. Schrempf came outside, now gives it to Vaughn as Washington sets up.
And somewhere along the line, UCLA has learned their lesson that they have to play very, very intense defense if they're going to win in this league. They're extending it in the half-court situation right now and playing good defense. That could have been a good block right there.
Jackson picked up his third personal foul. Schrempf will go to the line. Stuart Gray will get a rest.
Randy Wright will replace him. I mean, Brad Wright, excuse me.
Brad Wright, the junior from Murphy High in L.A. 6'11", 225-pounder. Schrempf hits one to tie it, 51.
We talked at the top of the show about UCLA trying to frustrate Schrempf. One of the things he has done is kept his school the entire ball game.
Detlef Schrempf hits a pair, and the Huskies are back in front by one. 10:07 remaining second half. They're against each other. 3:30 Eastern time. The 76ers and the Celtics. Elsewhere today in NCAA basketball, number 9 Memphis State ahead of Alabama Birmingham, 41-37 in the second half. Boston College and Pittsburgh are tied at 32. An important Big East game. Those games being seen elsewhere on CBS, other parts of the country today.
Earlier in the year on CBS, you saw UCLA manhandle Memphis State. That was during a period of time when Memphis State was not playing well. Over the last 3 weeks, they played excellent basketball. Keith Lee is playing more emotionally. He's more involved in all areas, particularly scoring.
Bruins trail by one. They're shooting 63% from the field in the second half with 9:52 remaining in the second half. Tim Ryan and Steve Brody live from the Edmondson Pavilion at the University of Washington.
And off the timeout, Washington mixes it up a little bit. They're in a zone defense now.
Jackson, Hatcher in the backcourt. That's Hatcher number 12. Melanson, Brad Wright, Kenny Fields up front for the Bruins.
And obviously the zone defense is always aimed at making your opponent shoot the ball from the perimeter.
For the Huskies, Williams and Vaughn in the backcourt. Schrempf, Portier, and Rogers up front. Hatcher, he's got a hot hand. 12 points for Montel Hatcher. Had been the starter. Game started Thursday night. Hatcher came off the bench, scored 11 against Washington State. And he did not start here today, but he's had a lot of playing time, and he is shooting well. This is Vaughn for the Huskies. 53-52, the Bruins by one. 48 is Schrempf. Schrempf off to Shag Williams. That won't go for him. Rebound Rogers. Reggie Rogers banks it, and that won't drop. And the rebound by Brad Wright and a foul call against Rogers.
In for the Bruins, number 31, Reggie Miller, 55.
This is a close call because I thought maybe the rebounder actually hit Rogers as he swung the ball free.
6 on the team.
4 fouls against Rogers, and there are 4 on Welp. So the Huskies with 8:41 have got themselves in a problem with the 2 big men. Rogers sits down.
Tim, I think what we're seeing here now is UCLA has hung in there. They've got the lead back. They're playing well here in the second half. They're operating well offensively in the half court. They're shooting a good percentage. Schrempf has not been as big of a factor as he was overall in the first half. And foul trouble is catching up with Washington.
Schrempf has just picked up his 4th personal.
Let's take a look at it inside.
Charge to Kenny Fields.
Oh, no, it's not on Schrempf. There was an offensive foul. I was going to say, it looked to me like Fields moved into Schrempf.
Well, I'll tell you something. Schrempf thought that the foul was on him.
He did.
And so did we. I was watching his facial reaction. But it's against Kenny Fields, his 3rd.
We may look back on that, and that being a very big call, obviously. 8.5 minutes to play.
Portier. Paul Portier, 54-53. What a dogfight this is. And pardon the pun, since the Huskies are involved. Under 8 minutes to go. Jackson off to Kenny Fields. Jackson again, a lot more movement in the half-court offense by the Bruins here in the second half.
They are really moving the ball around the horn. They're opening up things on the inside. Uh-oh, that's it for Welp.
Welp fouling Stuart Gray.
With the foul on the arm, 32, Williams.
No, it's Williams. Williams, not Welp. So Welp gets a reprieve. Welp was all over him there, very close contact, but it's Williams who gets the call. So obviously the double team there, and the call went to Williams.
Now just under 8 minutes to play, and UCLA will shoot 1-1 the rest of the way.
Gray misses, Welp rebounds. Huskies still lead by 1.
One of the other things that UCLA has done is they've taken away the transition offense from Washington. In the first half, they were getting the ball down, getting it to Schrempf in scoring position where he could shoot it or create something offensively. They've not done that in the second half.
Steal by Fields from Welp. Hatcher. 14 points for Montel Hatcher.
Better throw the ball in bounds. Almost caught the 5-second call.
Bruins by 1, 7:06 to play, second half. Widest margin has been in the opening few seconds of play when UCLA jumped off to a 6-point lead. 56-55.
Fortier is becoming a story. He really is. The lead changes back and forth now. It's Fortier who's made the individual offensive play with the inside move.
Fortier now with 10 points.
We simply got a very well-played seesaw battle between two of the best teams in the Pac-10.
First place at stake in the Pacific 10.
And I think a pivotal game for Washington. Remember, they've got to play 5 of the last seven league games on the road.
There's that Hatcher again. He's got the hot hand. These two teams meet again March 1st at UCLA.
You know what's interesting to me? Sometimes when things go well, coaches tend not to want to change. With Hatcher playing so well off the bench, it will be interesting to see how they use him the rest of the season.
Hatcher is 8 of 10 from the field, 16 points. This is Vaughn, number 20. Fortier using the screen from Welp. Got the foul call.
At the top of the show, Tim, we said we had two teams here that had a number of good players. Two teams that played team basketball. We've seen both teams play well together, and that's why we've got a 1-point game with 5:50 left to go.
CBS coverage of NCAA basketball will continue after this word from your local station. Oregon State tomorrow afternoon on CBS. Now look at this.
Look at this. I've seen Kentucky play a number of times over the last 3 or 4 weeks. I did their game when they got upset by Florida. This is a team that is not shooting the ball from the perimeter at the guard positions. A team that also can be exploited with quickness along the front line. They don't, in Turpin, Bowie, and Walker, they don't have anybody who can put the ball on the floor offensively either.
Alabama does it to Kentucky today, and here it is here, 57-56. The visiting Bruins by 1. A live crowd supporting the Huskies. Detlef Schrempf will go.
We just got finished saying that one of the things they've done is kept Schrempf out of this ball game in the second half. Out of the timeout, a team will generally go to their best player. A set play by design into Schrempf works to success.
Bruins in blue working left to right. In the backcourt, Jackson and Montel Hatcher. Hatcher's having an outstanding game. Up front, Melanson. Stuart Gray back in. Kenny Fields, number 54.
We talked about UCLA consolidating the number of people that play in a ball game. Now, they did use 8 or 9 in the first half. But with the game on the line, we've only seen 7 players in this game in the second half.
Fields off to Hatcher, and he's fouled by Vaughn. And Hatcher missed the shot. He has not been missing many.
Second personal.
Second personal against Vaughn. And here are some other scores. Number 9, Memphis State leading 49-41 over Alabama Birmingham in the second half. And Pittsburgh in front of Boston College by 5. Both those games being seen regionally on CBS. Coverage of the NCAA. Hatcher to the line.
While we got a short break here, kind of interesting that Sun Belt Conference with which burst on the scene so quickly with the Alabama, Birmingham, upsetting Indiana, beating Virginia the one year with Sampson. That conference has sort of disappeared here now.
Fields rebounding, and it's called for traveling. Fields rebounding, Hatcher's missed free throw. We're tied at 58, and here's the foul picture. You can see Welp and Rogers, the two big men for Washington, both with 4. And 4 of the Bruins have 3 apiece. Jag Williams.
Look at the UCLA defense now. Very, very aggressive. The best defense they've had, and they get the 5-second call.
Mostly guarded for 5 seconds.
The thing facing UCLA basketball right now is they have to realize, as good players start going to other schools in the Pac-10, no longer can they come in on their laurels and win. They have to play with intensity to beat a lot of teams in this league, especially defensively. We saw that especially in that situation right there.
This is Jackson. Any field working outside. They go deep into Gray. He's too well covered by Welp. Welp and Gray. The contest. That's been. Oh, a long jumper by Jackson. 60 to 58, the Bruins in front. 4:07 and ticking.
We haven't talked much about Jackson today. We're going to get a foul inside on Melanson, trying to take care of 48. We haven't talked much about Jackson today. He's the guy who runs the show. He may be as important as anybody to this UCLA ball club. He keeps them under control. He knows where to take the ball offensively. Remember, he's the only guard on the team that is not a freshman.
Melanson picked up his 3rd. So he and Gray and Hatcher and Jackson and Fields have all got 3 with 4:04 to play. 48 at the line. 60 to 58 UCLA lead. 11 points for Fortier, a sophomore from St. Ignatius High School in San Francisco. Had 4 starts a year ago. Main man in that position this season.
2 big free throws for a 57% free throw shooter on the season.
We're tied at 60. Jackson.
This 48 is really coming on. Look at double figures now for 8 of the last 9 ball games, maybe 9 of the last 10. This is everything you want when you got number 1 and number 2 teams in the league going at it.
3-second violation against Grant Wright. Not Wright, Melanson, pardon me, 53. And every turnover like that is a big one. Timeout on the floor. 3:41 remaining. The veteran coach of the Huskies will have words now with the score tied at 60. Beach, California for more of the 3rd round action of the Bing Crosby after our telecast here of NCAA. And here's how they stand at this point in the double figure category.
Well, that was my point up the top, but we've got 2 good teams that have to play like teams today. I said the team that got the most people in double figure points would win. We've got 3 on each side. It's tied. We've got a tied ball game, 60 apiece.
Well, we showed Hatcher with 10. He has 17 points for UCLA. And certainly has been a huge factor at this point with him tied at 60. 3:32 and counting. Husky ball. Schrempf. Fortier. Welp up front. Vaughn and Williams in the backcourt.
Oh, that's a tough one to take right now.
He missed everything.
Now they got a break, too. Oh, I'm surprised Hatcher didn't take it in. They had 3 on 2. 3 Washington people around the defensive rebounder.
Hatcher, Jackson in the backcourt. Fields, Melanson, and Stuart Gray for UCLA, and Melanson can't make it, and it's rebounded by the Huskies. Vaughn. 2:54.
In 2 separate key possessions, 2 rather forced shots and not good attempts by both people. Washington with the ball and their advantage now.
Do you slow it down here with the 2:40 or not?
Well, you go to a line right now.
That's the best thing to do,
I'll tell
right?
you laid the question on me and they took it right away.
Well, Vaughn will go to the line.
shooting 1-1. Alvin.
Now that's strategy.
Well, this is the point in time where, in the time of game where you want the ball in your best player's hands. Washington will come down and get it to Detlef Schrempf. Big free throw by Vaughn.
5 points for Vaughn.
Now UCLA has got so many people playing well, their shot could come from anybody.
Vaughn makes a pair, a 61% shooter from the line, and it's 62-60. Well, there is bedlam here at the Edmondson Pavilion.
They're going to call a block down here on Fortier. I had to stand up to take a look at it, and I still wasn't sure what happened. All right, now we'll get a chance to see it. Yeah, Fortier just didn't quite get there. Boy, and that's what you don't want to do is put UCLA on the line. Make them shoot the ball from the perimeter.
Kenny Fields, calmly, makes the free throw. He is 68% from the free throw line this season. Huskies by a point. Larry Farmer trying to pray this one in.
Now, if he makes this, we could see UCLA in full court pressure. Let's see what happens.
He does, and they do. We're tied at 62, 2:23. Schrempf, double team off to Vaughn, and the Huskies bring it up well.
Settle it down now. So often it's not the press itself, but when you use it, by catching your opponent off guard, it makes it extremely effective.
Schrempf, Vaughn, Hatcher on him. Shag Miller. Welp, Schrempf. Gets to the lane, won't drop.
He'll get
Welp
it back to
tips it to Schrempf.
Take it back out and set it up again.
1:48 and counting. A tie game. What a basketball game. Timeout is called by Washington. They have possession. 1:43 remaining. The battle for the Pac-10 lead. Marv Harshman will organize the play for the Huskies, and we'll be back live from Seattle, Washington in just a moment. Tim Ryan, Steve Brody, live from Seattle, Washington on the campus of the University of Washington. A tie game with 1:43 remaining. We are staring overtime in the face, but 1:43, of course, much can happen. Huskies will inbound.
Certainly Washington will take only the best of shots. I don't expect to see much different. Open the floor up a little bit. Oh, they're going to play for one, it looks like. And why not?
Vaughn, Schrempf, handling the ball thus far. Shag Miller, Christian Welp, Paul Fortier. For the Bruins, they've got Hatcher and Jackson, Stuart Gray, Kenny Fields, and Gary Melanson. 109.
Now, Tim, the one thing you don't want to do is foul now. You want to make them make a shot from the field, not put them at the line for a 1-and-1. Uh-oh. You can't pick that ball up. You've got to maintain your dribble when you're in possession with the ball when you're trying to stall the game away for the last shot.
Trent started for the basket. Got better of it. 38 seconds left.
Now, if they can break into their offense real quickly about the 15-second mark, they may catch UCLA off guard. A lot of times, they'll go into their offensive formation and enter with the pass to the forward. The defense knows you're getting ready to go for the last shot. If you can break into it quickly, sometimes you get the easy shot.
Do you go to Schrempf? Do you call timeout? 14 seconds on the clock. So Marv Harshman, the second coach among active coaches in basketball in the win category, is going for his 611th, and it may come down to that one shot.
See, that's my only point. You call a timeout here with 14 seconds to play. You could have called the play on your last timeout. Now you give the defense a chance to set up and get their own strategy together. If at that 10-second mark, it's just all of a sudden attack the basket like Schrempf did and run a play off a spread formation, you might get a better crack at the basket. More people with open lanes to the hoop.
Well, we'll see what happens. If they go to overtime, UCLA has been there once this season. They beat USC 75-69. Washington has been there twice. They went 3 overtimes to beat Idaho 83-69, and they beat Notre Dame in a thriller in 2 overtimes 63-61. They have an opportunity, of course, to the Huskies to not go to overtime, to maintain their lead in the Pac-10 by making what could be the final shot for victory.
Well, is there any question as to who the ball's going to go to now?
Well, Detlef Schrempf has 20 points, and the one occasion where it looked like they might go to the basket, it was Schrempf who went to the basket and then pulled back.
You see, they've held him to 3 baskets this second half. Now, the first thing you got to do is get the ball in bounds.
They use Welp.
He's going to create.
Working his way toward the lane. There's the jumper. It's short. Rebound, UCLA. Fields. Down court, out of bounds with 3 seconds left. 3 seconds remain.
And that, believe it or not, that shot almost went in.
3 seconds remaining.
Oh, UCLA called timeout while that ball was in the air.
They get their timeout. They're going to bring the ball back down court.
Like our camera, we were all watching Fields. Evidently, one of his teammates called timeout right in front of one of the other officials. Now, there will be some question as to how much time was left on the clock when they called timeout. It looks right now like they're going to rule that there were only 3 seconds left.
Well, the clock has not changed, and when that ball came down and went out of bounds as Fields chucked it toward the basket, 3 seconds was on the clock, and that's how it's going to remain. Now, let's go back and second guess. How about the play? How about the shot?
Well, once again, it's just my own personal feeling that you can catch the defense off guard when they're not expecting you to go to the basket. I would have called my play on the first timeout. Why waste a timeout and do nothing? All they came out and did was run off about 45 seconds. I don't know if you can ever question a shot that Schrempf takes. He's the mainstay. He's the guy you have to go to.
Well, Schrempf missed it. The Bruins rebounded, and we are still tied. Here it is again.
Well, we've seen him make 2 baskets today on this exact move. He seems to like to go to his left a little bit more than to his right off the dribble when he wants to get a shot off. This ball, you know, it would have been funny. Gray called the timeout. You know, that ball almost went in. Just think if that had went in and it got the timeout.
Oh, boy. Well, it is Bruins ball. 3 seconds left. Fields.
He's got a good shot at it.
Kenny Fields had the ball in the air when the zeros came up, but it would not drop for him, and we are headed to overtime. At 62, Larry Farmer got to feel glad to be there. Harshman, of course, who had possession for most of the final 3 minutes of the basketball game, failed to get the winner. Tim Ryan and Steve Grody back live in Seattle. The Huskies won the coin toss to determine possession for overtime. We're into this first 5-minute overtime period. Huskies with the basketball.
And each team will be given an extra timeout in this session, added on to any they may have left.
Oh! Turnaround jumper, 64-62.
On a number of occasions now, off the timeout, or when they've had a chance to talk about it, we've seen Washington go directly to Schrempf, their best player.
Stuart Gray. Tip in try by Melanson. Rebound by Williams. Alvin Vaughn.
That time, Gray fading to the left, misses the shot to the left. They call that Kentucky windage. You go straight up, you're more likely to shoot the ball straight in. If you fade right, you miss it right. If you fade left, you miss it left.
Schrempf got some instructions from Harshman on the far sideline. This is Welp. Shag Williams, 32. Schrempf has the first 2 points of overtime. All 48.
Now Washington will be very, very, oh, he walked.
Traveling ball against Williams. And not afford these kind of turnovers. 3:46 in overtime. Huskies by 2. Bruins ball. They have Jackson and Hatcher with Gray, Fields, and Melanson.
Now Washington has been in this 2-3 zone for, I'd say the last 6 minutes of the ball game. And here in overtime. UCLA has shot the ball from the perimeter extremely well.
Kenny Fields is fouled by Welp.
Washington foul, charge to 32.
No, it's Williams.
Oh, I think they called this on the wrong play.
They got another reprieve. That's twice now where it appeared Welp was going to get his 5th foul.
I didn't even see Williams in the picture.
Me neither. What a break.
And I don't know how UCLA is not protesting this call.
Well, that's 4 on Williams now. Fields at the line.
Before the game, I went out and checked both free throw lines. So often the shooting background can make the basket look closer or longer in different buildings. UCLA has shot the ball very well from the foul line today, so it hasn't bothered them. I think the background is a little difficult here in this building.
Fields with a perfect pair. We're tied at 64, the senior from Verbum Day High School in Los Angeles. Fields with 20 points. Schrempf with 22 for the University of Washington Huskies. Don't forget we'll be going to the Bing Crosby at Pebble Beach, California when we conclude our telecast
Chance to
here.
make up.
Williams won't go. Rebound by Gray. 2 on 2.
Look at Washington get back on defense.
Hatcher saw that and he sets it up. Hatcher and Jackson in the backcourt for the Bruins.
Now you see, there's the spot you want to try to attack the zone from, right there. It opens up the perimeter and the inside lane.
Hatcher missed, foul called on the rebound play.
Foul, charge to 54. Fields is 4.
It's going to be
That
on
is Fields, and he has 4.
Excuse me, Tim, and that's going to be 1 and 1 at the other end. When you can get the ball in the middle against a zone defense, it opens it up for the shot there. It opens up the perimeter for wing shots, and naturally you will look inside along the baseline. There you saw Fields go over the back.
Both teams are in the bonus. Welp, the pride of Osnabrück, West Germany.
64% free throw shooter on the year. A big spot for a freshman.
Don't forget, you golf fans, we're going out to beautiful Pebble Beach at the conclusion of our basketball telecast to see the Bing Crosby National Pro-Am. Weather's good, they tell us. Exciting golf action from one of the most beautiful places in the world, the Monterey Peninsula. 1-point Husky lead. Bruins with the ball. 2:30. Counting down in the first overtime period. Tim Ryan with Steve Grody. What a game we have had to determine the Pac-10 leader.
And now you can see the weak side defensive guard is getting around that free throw lane area. That's the pass they had to stop right there. They let it in.
Kenny Fields.
Great,
No doubt.
Great pass, great basket. That is going to be the pass they have to stop the last couple minutes of the ball game if they're going to stop UCLA offensively.
Bruins by 1. All Portier, that won't drop. Big rebound by Fields, who was way above everybody.
And now you've got to play man-to-man. You've got to pick up man-to-man right now.
1:47 and counting. Bruins by a point. Timeout called by UCLA. With 1:45 remaining in the first overtime period. There's the story as Larry Farmer has his Bruins in front by a point. We'll be right back in Seattle, Washington. Well, there is calm in the eye of the storm here. That young Husky fan seems to have everything under control, but his team is behind by a point.
Are we on TV or aren't we? Are we on TV or aren't we?
1:45 remaining in the first overtime. A 1-point lead for the Bruins. A seesaw battle all the way after the Bruins had taken a 6-0 lead at the beginning of the basketball game. It's just been a real nip and tuck scrap into overtime. The Huskies with a chance to win it in regulation cannot come up with a scoring play. And the Bruins forced overtime.
We've got Melanson on the floor, who's a 56% free throw shooter. I don't think they'll foul immediately. They'll play tough man-to-man defense, and they'll see if they can come up with the steal first. UCLA. Now, this is what I like. See, I maintain that it's easier to stall the ball away when you run your offense. It forces the defense to be concerned with defending the basket. Plus, you maintain spacing when you're in your offense. You don't get two offensive players together creating the double team. However, when they do foul, they send, like I said, they send the right guy to the line. Melanson, 56% on the year.
He's 3 out of 4 from the free throw line.
Now, this is the big one. This would make it a three-pointer, and they need 2 possessions. If they can't get the three-point play, they need 2 possessions to get back in it.
Gary Melanson from Crenshaw High, and he's a real enthusiastic guy out there, but he misses this one, gets his own rebound. Bruins control. 119.
What a great play. Was that great? It kept the ball alive, tipped it to his own player.
Jackson off to Melanson.
And now UCLA spreads it out.
Vaughn picks up the foul, trying to get that ball back to Jackson. 1:08 to play in the first overtime. 2-point Bruins lead. And if UCLA can hold on to win, they will move to 7-1 and into a tie with the Huskies for the Pac-10 lead. Into first place, pardon me. Of course, Washington falling to 7-2.
One at the line for number 3, Jackson.
Jackson at the line. Gets a rebound, Welp. Bruins by 2. 1 minute left, first overtime. Vaughn sets it up. Welp.
Oh, good defense by Gray. Gray got over there, prevented the layup.
Hatcher rebounds.
Now the idea, move the ball before they get in position to foul you.
Melanson fouled by Damon, number 12. Played Damon in the game for the Huskies. 37 seconds remaining. Melanson again at the line, and he has been handy from here. 4 of 6.
Now they ran a great play. The first time they ran that play all day long, Gray gets over there. It looks like Schrempf's got an easy lane to the basket. Gray makes the defensive play.
Melanson misses. Welp rebounds. Do not go away. 30 seconds right now. 2-point Bruin lead.
And Harshman's telling Vaughn, let's go. Get it up and let's get something running here.
Clay Damon. Freshman guard from Spokane in the backcourt now. There he is. In a crucial portion of the game. Underneath the Welp. He's got it.
What a pass.
7 seconds left. Timeout is called by UCLA. 6 seconds. They may give them a second back. We'll wait and see. We're tied at 67. Welp now with 17 points. The German connection. Again, the hot hand for the Huskies.
Now this time they ran a similar play to what they did the last time they had the ball. Only this time it's the guard with Damon with possession. They try to post up Schrempf. When he can't get it, he pops out. Phelps steps in. An excellent pass. Now, that ball went through the basket with 11 seconds to play. UCLA lost 5 seconds off the clock before they got their timeout.
That they might get a second back on the clock. It appeared that it was called with 7, but it remains 6. Timeouts remaining. Washington with 2. UCLA has used them up.
I would just expect them to go zone with a little more ball pressure, making sure that they prevent that pass into the lane.
scramble, get the best shot we can off Stewart's swing without checking what we pick. If they're in the zone, look at drone penetration, look at watch out.
If they're in a zone, they want penetration and look for whoever's open. That would obviously be a wing shooter. Possibly a Hatcher who's had such a good day from the perimeter.
Hatcher with 17 points, Fields with 22.
Washington comes out showing full court man-to-man pressure. If it's in a scramble situation, I think they'll just look to take the ball to the basket as soon as they get it inbounds.
Oh, steal by Damon. Here's Welp. Jump shot. No good. Rebound. Fortier. Zeros are up. We'll go into another overtime. Clay Damon made a steal. Here's the play.
So many times, this is the toughest thing to do in a game. Just get the ball inbounds under tremendous pressure. Just a little bit out of his range. Here we go.
Well, Welp, like Schrempf, unable to come up with the winning point. There'll be more overtime. Stay with us. Tim Ryan with Steve Grody. Remember, we're going to the Bing Crosby Golf Tournament, but not until we finish this exciting basketball game. The Pac-10 lead at stake. We're tied at 67, beginning the second overtime. Possession will go to UCLA. They have a coin flip every other overtime period. And otherwise, the even ones, in other words, they alternate possession. So it is UCLA's basketball.
Back into that 2-3 zone. The perimeter
Jackson
shot goes down.
Ralph Jackson, he's had a couple from that range. About the same spot. We're into the second overtime. Washington has won twice in overtime out of the 2 times they've been there, and UCLA has won 1 of 1. Vaughn
Trying to get the ball into Schrempf.
Vaughn. Elvin Vaughn, the senior guard. 8 points for Vaughn. 4-16 and counting. And as we said just a moment ago, we'll be going to the Bing Crosby Golf Tournament as soon as the game is over.
Now, once again, they've got to stop that pass to the middle of the zone. See where Fields is lining up. When they get the ball there, it opens up too many offensive options. They've got to stop that pass.
Tied at 69, Bruins. In possession, Kenny Fields, and in and out. Fouled by Vaughn. Fields will go to the line for 2. Fourth personal foul on Alvin Vaughn.
You don't have to know the game very well to understand what the ball in that position does, as we explained before. The guards have to collapse. It opens up both wings for the pass. And a baseline flasher could possibly get a layup if the center comes up to guard Fields.
Fields on the line at 22 points. (70-69). Fields going for the second.
Oh, he's made some big free throws here.
Yes, he has. Very taciturn performance from the free throw line by Kenny Fields. 23 points on the afternoon. 71-69, 3:40 remaining, second overtime.
Good overplay defense by Hatcher. Now they'll swing the ball, they'll run some picks, they'll swing the ball from side to side looking for Schrempf somewhere in scoring position.
Schrempf had a brief space there, but elected not to shoot. Inside, Fortier on the feed from Welp.
The tremendous advantage any team has when they have a good passing center. That's the place you can attack the zone. It's also obviously the place you can attack a man-to-man from the center right there.
Kenny Fields.
Both teams are letting that ball go to the center position on the free throw line.
Under 3 minutes remaining. Bruins by 2. Second overtime. Tim Ryan with Steve Grody reminding you we'll be going to the Bing Crosby Golf Tournament. Fields knocked it loose, but Fortier recovered. Golf following. NCAA basketball, a thriller with the Pac-10 lead at stake. Huskies in the lead. The Bruins could be in first place with a win. Fortier again. We're tied at 73.
6 minutes into the second half, when UCLA took the lead, it started going back and forth. Fortier was the player that made 2 individual offensive moves and got 2 baskets to stem the tide. He's answered again. He's got the last 2.
Fortier came over to Washington when San Francisco dropped their basketball program.
And now UCLA has gone to the spread offense.
That's Melanson. Ball knocked loose by Welp, showing his agility for a big man, but it was recovered neatly by Hatcher. Hatcher's played a fine all-round game today for the Bruins.
UCLA now will try to stall away about just over 2 minutes of the game. If you don't foul, I think a turnover will generally happen within 2 minutes. This is tough to do, to hold the ball like this.
Hatcher watched by Vaughn. Jackson watched by Damon.
But Damon is not putting any defensive pressure on Jackson. See, now they went into their offense real quickly, looking for the quick strike.
Ray to Fields. Fields, I believe, stepped out of bounds.
It was out of bounds.
Kenny Fields stepped out of bounds. Huskies ball.
But the point that we made earlier, so often when you go into the stall, boom, you break into an offensive set, you catch a defense sleeping. That time it almost worked. Schrempf got in defensive position, Fields steps on the baseline.
Under a minute to go, second overtime, tied at 73. Huskies have had 2 chances to win. Failed on them both. Let's see what they do this time as we now get under 50.
And I think what you will see is that the more overtime periods you play, the more cautious each team will get. The first overtime they came out and played, each team, I believe, scored 6-7 points. Now there aren't going to be many shots taken in this second overtime.
Under 30 seconds to go. We've been told that the most overtimes in Pac-10 history is 5. We're approaching the end of 2. Huskies have the ball. They're looking for the winning shot. 14 seconds left. Timeout called by Washington's Marv Harshman. And look at how they bring out their little picnic chairs here, put them down, crack a little cold chicken, bottle of wine, see what they can organize for 13 seconds here.
It certainly hasn't been a picnic. But once again, this is a difficult position to get the ball in bounds. That's why a lot of times you want your best passer, and preferably a player who has a little bit of a size advantage on his defender, who can look over the defender and make the good pass just to get things started.
Well, we had a planned play. The shot by Schrempf failed to make it. Then we had the steal, and Welp was given the opportunity. Nobody in front of him from the free throw line, but he just rushed a little bit, couldn't sink it, and that kept the Bruins alive for the second time. Now, meanwhile, Larry Farmer and his Bruins saying, well, you know, we got a little breath there, a second life twice. We can still do it here. 13 seconds left. Let's make the defensive play. And let's get a rebound. Better yet, a turnover.
Well, that's the danger in a missed shot. You don't want to go over the back of the offensive rebound. UCLA will not want to commit a foul, period. Let's see if we can recognize their defense here before the ball gets inbounded.
Final 4 and 84, the slogan for the Huskies. They want to be playing right here at the Kingdome on CBS. They got a long way to go yet.
Now, exactly what I said. Schrempf, the best passer with a little height advantage, taking the ball out of bounds.
Vaughn from the backcourt. Remember, Bing Crosby golf follows immediately. 7 seconds. Damon, Vaughn. Inside Welp. Welp shoots. Won't go. Rebound. Vaughn. And time has expired again. We're going to 3 overtimes. And Marv Harshman upset at that final play.
Well, there's some confusion. They didn't even get the ball. They got the ball to Schrempf's hand once, and he didn't do anything with it.
Malfunction with which what the figures it shows on the board.
Well, now they will have a coin flip to determine possession for this next overtime.
They had Schrempf in a post-up position with about 8 seconds to play. Damon brought the ball back to the point. I don't know why they didn't get it into Schrempf and let him try to create something.
Well, Welp had the shot again as you see the coin flip. And the officials probably about as tired as the players are right now. Pretty loose out there.
Washington got it again.
Here's that final play again.
I take it back. See that Schrempf never even got the ball. I take it back. He never got the ball. Welp had to shoot it.
Well, Welp, as we were starting to say, had 2 shots that could have won, but let's bear in mind, too, that in neither case was it a set play where he was looking to shoot from that spot at that particular time off the pass. And here is a freshman out of Silverdale, Washington, Olympic High School there, and who has come in as a starter. Imagine the pressure on this young guy to spontaneously throw up those 2 shots and come up with the winners. He just wasn't able to do it. He has been such a big factor all season long for Washington in this game, indeed. Well, a couple of final scores in overtime as well. Memphis State over Alabama, Birmingham, 53-51. And Boston College did it to Pittsburgh in a Big East game, 72-59.
Wins on the road, and that's a tough place to play, Pittsburgh.
We're into the 3rd overtime. Tim Ryan with Steve Brody. Remember, we're going out to Pebble Beach, California for the Bing Crosby Golf Tournament. As soon as we conclude this one, we may be here for a while, the way it's going.
I'll tell you what, Tim, I'm thinking about bringing you with me when I go to these games. The first one we work, we get a 3 overtimer. Damon's first shot of the game.
Clay Damon, freshman from Spokane. Huskies make good on their first try. Kenny Fields, it won't drop. Rebound, Alvin Vaughn. Well, the Huskies have had the chance to win this game. If the odds are going to shift, they got to shift in favor of UCLA, but Washington at least jumps off with a 2-point lead.
Now it'll be interesting to see what they do offensively. Got away with the push-off. We've seen Welp make this pass so many times. No, he didn't push off enough for it to be a foul. And there's the 3-point play.
Paul Fortier and Stuart Gray with a foul.
And all of a sudden, Fortier becomes the man who's made the big buckets in the key situations.
Has he ever, and he's up to 18 points. 19. 5-point lead for the Huskies, 4:10 remaining, 3rd overtime. They went 3 to beat Idaho earlier this season. Timeout called by UCLA. 4:05 on the clock. We'll be back in the 3rd overtime in Seattle. Bruins inbound. Capture. Jackson. Reggie Miller is in. Stuart Gray and Kenny Fields for the Bruins. Vaughn and Damon. Schrempf. Welp. Fortier. That is Kenny Fields.
Offensive foul.
No basket.
And Larry Farmer's irate.
It's no basket.
Kenny Fields fouls out.
Oh, that's a good acting job by Welp. Now, and that's Fields gets fouled. From that camera angle, it's very difficult to tell. I'm a little surprised, though. Obviously, by design, they put Fields under the basket. We've seen throughout the overtime periods where Fields has been successful getting the ball on the foul line, going up and making the jumper on a number of occasions. However, they went in low for the opportunity to get the 3-point play.
Tough, close call. Fields leads with 26 points. They had 20 Thursday night against Washington State. He did all that was asked of him here, but he is out of the game. Schrempf, Damon.
And now it's strictly no shot. No shot, but a layup or go to the foul line.
5-point lead for the Huskies. Fields made the shot, but unfortunately for the Bruins, he fouled on the way.
Doing a great job of handling the ball against the pressure right now.
A Husky win makes them 8-1 in the Pac-10. There is a foul on Schrempf.
No. Be on Miller.
Miller.
31. Reggie Miller.
Miller, number 31 of the Bruins, is third. Schrempf will go to the line as we're in the bonus naturally this late stage. In the third overtime, 3:15 remaining to play in the third overtime period. Washington beat Idaho 83-69 in the overtimes earlier this year. Schrempf makes it a 6-point margin.
I could be wrong, but I just feel that when they didn't make a basket on that last possession, UCLA just can't come back and win this game now.
Gray comes up with a rebound. Hatcher down court.
Now remember, UCLA has just one timeout. So they got to play quick offense.
Jackson to Gray. Won't go. Rebound Melanson.
On the rebound, 53.
Gary Melanson. 18 points on the day. Schrempf. Gets away
Oh,
from
got
Miller.
away with the foul there.
2:40 on the clock. Vaughn with the ball. Knocked away by Jackson. Vaughn.
Foul, and you're lucky. Turnover. And Tim, this is where fatigue starts to settle in. When you're trying to handle the ball against defensive pressure this late in the game. When you get tired, the first thing you lose are your hands and your legs. You got to have good hands if you're going to handle the ball under this kind of defensive pressure.
Vaughn will go to the line.
He's played almost all the way.
4 of 4 from the free throw line today. 5 out of 5 and a 5-point lead. Rebound, Gray. 2:30 on the clock, third overtime.
Now you need good points, but you have to get a good shot too. That's Melanson's spot right there. Oh, gets too low.
Gary Melanson used all the iron and it dropped for him, 80-77. Lots of time, 2:10. Damon. Schrempf, guarded by Miller.
Now Schrempf's had the ball for a long time.
Clay Damon. Damon eluded that double coverage.
It's getting a little shaky here now.
Vaughn is fouled by Hatcher as he started down the lane. 5 fouls on Hatcher. What a game he's played.
When you take a look around the court, you can see the fatigue now, especially for the ball handlers. Washington, with I believe 3 timeouts left now, might not be a bad idea to take a timeout just so his ball handlers can catch their breath. You need some energy to handle the ball.
There's Hatcher. Montel Hatcher just sat down and with 5 fouls at 17 points. Came off the bench. Corey Gaines had started, and Hatcher was a big contributor to get the Bruins into the overtime. 1:40 remaining in the third overtime period. A 3-point margin for the Huskies. A victory by Washington will move them to 8-1 in the Pac-10. UCLA would fall to 6-2. Reggie Miller checking in for the Bruins, number 31. Corey Gaines is back in the backcourt, replacing Hatcher.
Long, he's shooting 1-1.
Vaughn 5 of 6 from the free throw line. His 10th point.
Boy, did you see him give it the extra little oomph with his body that time?
To make sure it got all the way to the basket.
Yeah, a little surprised that, you know, when you alter your shot a little bit, you can see he shot that one more with his wrist that time. Didn't get the body into it. Now it's a 4-point game. A basket cuts it to 2.
Jackson missed. Portier rebounded.
I could still be proven wrong, but I just think in an overtime session, 5 points is too much to make up. UCLA's got a minute and 10 seconds to make up 4 points now.
Schrempf watched by Gaines. Nice move away from him.
Oh, no!
Schrempf! Detlef Schrempf, 25 points. Jackson for the Bruins.
They tried to get a timeout right there, but couldn't get one.
2-on-1.
Bring it
Damon
back.
will slow it up. 83-79. Fouled by Miller. .44 seconds in the third overtime.
Miller, 4 personal.
Miller has 4 personal fouls. Larry Farmer calls timeout. And we'll be going to the Bing Crosby National Pro-Am Golf Tournament. If this game is ever over, you will see some golf today. But right now, of course, it looks like the Huskies.
Hamilton to a
One-on-one.
Pac-10 Big Ten showdown, and he backed down.
Well, business is business. He was busy. Clay Damon from the line, 84-79.
Damon now with a big basket and 2 big free throws since he's been into the ballgame here in the overtime session.
Spokane pressure.
Schrempf got the steal.
Schrempf jumps in front. He has Vaughn open, and Vaughn will follow.
It's getting wild here now.
Oh, do they love it here. Detlef Schrempf follows with a dunk off the missed layup. He made the steal to start the play. Washington last beat UCLA January 2nd, 1982. When they beat them 56-50 here in Seattle. That's the last time they beat them. And the Bruins have won the last 3. The fans here feel maybe this is Washington's year. 88-81.
And don't discount the fact that the players on this Washington team have beaten UCLA once before. That's so important. Going into a game that you can beat your opponent. With UCLA's supremacy in this league for so many years, thinking you can beat them is one of your biggest obstacles.
Absolutely right. And they will meet again at UCLA and Pauley Pavilion on the 1st of March. And you've got to believe Larry Farmer and his guys will be looking for some heavy revenge.
And in Pac-10 play, that's what this Washington team has also accomplished this year earlier. None of these players had beaten an Oregon State team. They beat them just a week ago here in Washington.
89-81, final seconds. 3 overtimes it took, but the Huskies have done it. The Huskies of Washington have defeated UCLA 89-81 to retain first place in the Pac-10. They went 3 overtimes to do it. Our Chevrolet MVPs, Detlef Schrempf of the Huskies of Washington, 27 points. Montel Hatcher, who had an outstanding game, an all-court game, 17 points, and certainly a factor in getting the Bruins into the overtime. Remember, we're going to the Bing Crosby National Pro-Am immediately following our telecast. Live from Pebble Beach, California. Third round action. Hale Irwin, the current leader, at 9 under par. And we want to thank everybody here in Seattle. So speaking for Steve Brody, this is Jim Ryan saying so long from Seattle.
Morgan making a charge is 1 back, and Chip Beck is behind by 2. Renner